The top stories tonight in Y News. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. confirms that the opening of classes in public schools will proceed as scheduled, noting that the decision to postpone classes in areas severely affected by Super Typhoon Karina will be determined by school authorities. The PCG continues to monitor the oil sheen and oil slick coming from the sunken motor tanker in Limay, Bataan. The Members Church of God International continuously heeds the call of the Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD, to repack relief goods for those in need. And the Paris 2024 Olympic Games will make history with its opening ceremony, set to be the first ever to take place outside of a stadium. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Friday, the 26th of July, 2024. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am Marvi Delphine. First in the news. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. said the opening of classes will continue on Monday, July 29. But administrators of schools affected by the recent flooding have the discretion to decide whether or not they need more time to recover. Nel Maribuhok reports.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. said the opening of classes in public schools will push through as planned, but the decision to postpone for areas hit hard by Super Typhoon Karina would depend on school authorities. In a chance interview during his site visit in the storm-stricken Rizal on Friday, President Marcos instructed the Department of Education or DepEd to do everything that it can to resume classes on July 29.
Yun, gawin nyo lahat. Buksan yung ang pagpasok, gawin nyo hanggat maaari kung kaya nyo buksan.
PBBM said the Education Department, led by the newly appointed former Senator Sani Angara, should be able to figure out the middle ground since schools have not returned to full-time, face-to-face classes since the COVID-19 pandemic.
Siguro yung iba mapipilitan, they will conduct classes outside of the school building, makapagklase lang. Tingnan natin, we'll see. They will, ganyan naman, nasanay na tayo sa pandemic. Kahit hahanapan natin ng paraan para magkaroon pa rin ng pasok.
Several schools have either been damaged or used as makeshift homes for residents living in low-lying areas as the southwest monsoon intensified by the typhoon unleashed torrential rains and triggered massive floods in various parts of the country on Wednesday. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, we serve the people, we give glory to God.
The local government of Malabon has announced that the opening of classes in the city will be postponed to August 5. This decision comes in response to the ongoing impact of flooding in the area, which has raised concerns for the safety and well-being of students and staff. Dante Amento tells us why.
In Malabon, the situation remains challenging as 70% of the public schools are currently being utilized as evacuation centers. Mayor Jenny Sandoval disclosed on Friday, July 26, that some evacuees are still residing in these schools. Consequently, the local government has decided to postpone the opening of classes to August 5. This delay aims to provide ample time to clean, repair any damage, and adequately prepare the schools for the resumption of classes. Mayor Sandoval emphasized that their primary focus at the moment is on relief operations for the affected residents.
Nandito pa yung mga evacuees, tapos maglilinis pa, maghahanda rin sa pasukan. Since nakafocus tayo ngayon dun sa pag-rescue, pag-relief, pagsasaayos ng mga nasalanta ng bagyo, So, minabuti rin namin na ma-move na rin to August 5.
Some roads in various parts of Malabon are still impassable for small vehicles. Residents staying in the evacuation centers have requested provisions of food, hygiene kits, and other essential supplies. Portable lights are also necessary as electricity has not yet been restored in some areas.
Naghahanap po kami ng matcha-charge kasi po lahat po ng cellphone namin ay nalobat na dahil 3 days na po kaming walang kuryente. Baka sakali lang po kami dito sa munisipyo.
Kailangan po namin ng pagkain kasi kulang po sa pagkain yung mga tao po dito na salukuyan po naka-evacuate po dito. Tsaka yung mga pang-medicine po at mga inuubo po yung mga bata, sinisipon po, yun po.
Dan Diamento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Slight flooding was also experienced in the construction site of the Metro Manila Subway project. Despite this, the Department of Transportation assures prompt construction timelines of the project. Asher Kadapan Jr. tells us why.
Downpour slightly affected the construction operation of the Metro Manila Skyway project during the onslaught of Habagat and Typhoon Karina on Wednesday, July 24. While the cemented walls protected deep excavations from the flood and rain, particularly in the priority area where the boring machine will be placed, its contractor needed to mitigate the entry of heavy rain falling directly into open areas of the construction site.
Yung mga maliliit na bukas na area doon, tinakpan po namin yan ng mga blue sheet para hindi siya makadagdag sa pasok ng tubig dito. Pero dito po sa area na to, since hindi po natin matatakpan yan, ang ginawa namin is, nung nagsisimula ng bumuhos yung ulan, nagsisimula na rin po kami magbomba ng tubig palabas ng istasyon.
With this, the project manager from the Department of Transportation says the construction work was hampered. However, the incident didn't affect the construction timeline of the project.
Dito sa part na to, actually, hindi naman siya nagkaroon talaga ng mataas na tubig. Pero preventive measure, stoppage of works para sigurado tayo na safe din yung mga workers natin. Siyempre, yun ang mahalaga. Aside from the construction itself, hindi naman po naapektuhan yung construction timeline po natin.
The DOTR assures that they are ready for flooding incidents until the project is completed and the subway operational. At the moment, the agency says the overall progress of the project is 15% completed. The Metro Manila Subway is set to be fully operational by 2029, which extends between the cities of Valenzuela and Parañaque, passing through Terminal 3 of the Ninoy Aquino International Airport. Asher Kadapan Jr., UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Office of the Vice President has confirmed that Vice President Sara Duterte traveled abroad with her family for a personal trip. This occurred amid the onslaught of Typhoon Karina in the country. In the early hours of Wednesday, the Vice President was seen at the airport with her family. In a statement, the Office of the Vice President expressed regret that VP Sara's departure coincided with the typhoon. They clarified that the travel had been approved by the Office of the President, with her travel authority granted on July 9. Despite her absence, the OPP's Disaster Operations Center continues to provide aid to the victims of the widespread flooding. The Office of the Vice President also expressed gratitude to the public for respecting the privacy of VP Sara's family during this time. China warmly welcomed President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s order to ban Philippine offshore gaming operators or POGOs in the country on July 25. In a statement, the Chinese embassy in the Philippines expressed their belief that President Marcos's decision addresses the calls of the Filipino people and serves the best interests of both nations. China reiterated its readiness to continue strong cooperation with the Philippines in law enforcement to better protect the safety and welfare of their citizens.
And for the news abroad, Typhoon Kaini, the third and most powerful typhoon to strike China's eastern seaboard this year, made landfall in Fujian province on Thursday, July 25th. That led to widespread evacuations, warnings of severe flooding and waterlogging in multiple regions. Gaini unleashed gusts of up to 227 kilometers per hour in Taiwan, some of the strongest winds recorded in the Western Pacific Ocean, as 240,000 residents in Fujian were evacuated. Despite slightly weakening upon landfall in Fujian, a city of over 3 million, it is expected to bring heavy rain to at least 20 provinces in the coming days. Meanwhile, authorities are concerned about rising water levels in the Yangtze River, with 3 casualties as of date. Power outages affected around 500,000 households, and a freighter sank off the coast of Kaohsiung, leaving 3 of its 9 crew members found alive. In response to Gaini, Taiwan shut down offices, schools, financial markets for a second day and canceled all flights as the storm moves north, bracing for potential heavy rainfall and further flooding. The Paris Olympics, marking the first in 100 years, will commence with the opening ceremony with its motto, Games Wide Open. Axis Salem will tell us why.
The French capital is hosting the Summer Games for the first time in 100 years, primarily in or around its iconic areas. Around 300,000 fans will be able to see the opening ceremony as boats transport athletes and guests along the Seine River. The event, reportedly featuring Celine Dion and Lady Gaga, is aimed at showcasing France's diversity, according to artistic director Thomas Joly. The Paris Games, set to host 5,250 male and female athletes, are marking the first time gender parity has been achieved among athletes. French President Emmanuel Macron stated the country is prepared and will be ready throughout the Games. However, some Parisians are utilizing social media to inform others about issues like overcrowding, price inflation, and transportation difficulties in the city. French authorities are implementing a massive security operation with up to 5,000 police, soldiers, and guards patrolling the Seine River for the opening ceremony, although causing disruptions to local businesses and criticisms. Meanwhile, the upcoming Olympics are set to cost approximately 9.6 billion euros, with the organizing committee pledging to make it the greenest in history. Axis Salem, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
We'll share more global stories with you later, but for now, back to you, Marvin.
Thank you, Jovic. For those watching our live streaming on YouTube, please click the subscribe button you see on your screen and ring the bell for notification. You may also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. The Department of Education has announced a decision to postpone the opening of classes in certain schools across the country, particularly in regions severely impacted by Typhoon Karina and the southwest monsoon. Originally, classes were set to commence on Monday for all public elementary and high schools. Jed Naresina details why.
Department of Education Secretary Juan Edgardo Sani Angara expressed his desire to avoid using schools as evacuation centers as it disrupts student schedules similar to what is currently happening in various areas.
We're discouraging it as a last resort na lang kung wala talagang pupuntahan at may threat to persons and property, yung talagang malubha. Pero unahin sana yung covered courts. Nakaset forth yun sa department order na inisyu natin kahapon.
As a result, the Department of Education has decided to postpone the opening of classes in over 700 schools nationwide. This decision affects areas severely damaged by the flooding caused by Typhoon Karina and the southwest monsoon.
So far, ang report sa amin is ang severely damaged talaga yung NCR, yung Region 4A, Calabar Zone, tsaka yung, well, it seems Region 3 din because we have 400 schools that will open after July 29.
The school opening for all public elementary and high schools was initially scheduled for Monday, July 29.
As a general rule, gusto natin makabalik talaga sa July 29. No? Pero ano talaga, yung iba hindi talaga kakayanin. Kaya, so, merong cities like Malabon will start on July 31. Yung Valenzuela, August 5 sila. Kasi ginagamit pang evacuation center yung kanila. Sa ibang region, sa Region 12, parang may 4 na eskwelahan, yung malapit sa Liguasan Marsh. But so far, yun ang reports.
According to Education Secretary Sunny Angara, the number of schools unable to start classes on Monday may still increase. Regional and assistant regional directors continue to coordinate with local governments to assess the extent of damage to schools in the affected areas and determine if they are ready to start classes on Monday, July 29. For schools where the start of classes has been postponed, the department is considering makeup classes, though details have not yet been provided by the Secretary. The department will also focus on traditional learning methods to mitigate learning loss among students. Jed Neresina, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Evacuees at Malanday Elementary School in Marikina City are facing significant health challenges and a scarcity of medicine. JP Nunez explains why.
Evacuees at Malanday Elementary School in Marikina City are facing common illnesses such as fever, cough, and colds. Nurses from the Department of Health stationed at this evacuation center recently attended to a 54-year-old resident experiencing chills, diagnosing her with flu due to a urinary tract infection.
Siyempre, isang sign na may infection ng tao, siyempre nilalagnat. So nandito pa siya sa pag-ihi. Siyempre, ang evacuation, mahirap kailangan mo umihi, hindi ka makaihi kasi sa dami ng tao.
Additionally, Hasmin's 12-year-old son has a fever and was given paracetamol from the medical station.
Siguro po yung sa pagbabad sa ulan kasi katulong ng asawa ko naghahakot ng mga gamit. Di rin kasi ako makabuhat kasi nga isariyad po ako.
Evelyn's 2-year-old son has been suffering from a persistent cough since they evacuated last Wednesday, July 24. After consulting the medical station, she received medicine and was referred to the City Health Center for further assessment and proper treatment.
Natake rin talaga siya ng ubo. Isang araw yun hanggang gabi. May rin kasi asthma. Yung salbutamol lang po yung nahingi namin dyan sa babae. Siguro po kulang kasi yung plema niya hanggang ngayon meron pa rin po eh.
The medical station is experiencing a shortage of doxycycline, an antibiotic used to prevent leptospirosis, due to high demand as many evacuees were exposed to flood waters.
Wala pa po. Sabi po nila, kanina po pumunta po ako dito, sabi balik na lang daw po kami.
Nagsabi naman po ang Department of Health na mayroon dadalhin ngayon. Opo, hintay lang natin.
Sobrang dami talaga.
Sobrang dami po talaga ng tao dito.
Meanwhile, the MCGI Charity Center has been assisting affected residents with their medical needs, including a resident from Barangay Tumana who requested medicine to prevent leptospirosis for her 12-year-old sibling.
Yung nilapit ko po dito sa MCGI clinic ni Kuya, bali po sa kapatid ko, kasi po medyo nababad na din ng baha, nagkasugat na din po ng paa. Sa awat tulong naman po ng Diyos na natulungan naman po kami, nabigyan din naman po ng gamot.
The MCGI Medical Center is also serving as a temporary shelter for flood-affected residents, providing them with mattresses, free food, and free medicine.
Salamat sa Diyos, maalwan. Salamat at alaga sa pagkain. Gamot din, meron.
Ano po mga
Vitamin C, B+, antibiotic, na yung amoxicillin at saka yung paracetamol.
JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Members Church of God International continuously heeds the call of the Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD, to repack relief goods for those in need. Meanwhile, MCGI also distributed free meals to fellow citizens affected by the disaster. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
Repacking of approximately 10,000 family food packs of the Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD, is carried out daily at the National Resource and Operations Center in Pasay City. From Monday to Friday, volunteers from the Members Church of God International, or MCGI, assist in this effort. However, due to the large number of people affected by the recent monsoon and Typhoon Karina, the repacking of family food packs needs to be expedited to quickly distribute them to those in need and to replenish relief items at DSWD warehouses. According to the DSWD, there is a current need to prepare 15,000 relief packs every day.
Since naging malawak yung epekto nitong bagyong Karina at Typhoon Habagat, at bago nito, may mga habagat din tayong naranasan sa Visayas at Mindanao nitong mga nakaraang linggo. Kaya talagang na-expose yung ating family food pack sa ating mga warehouses, particular na dito sa National Resource Operations Center sa Pasay City.
In response, the MCGI intensified its support for repacking relief items. On Friday, July 26, along with other volunteer groups, more than 100 MCGI youth volunteers assisted in organizing relief packs at the main warehouse of the DSWD. Among them was Mark, an employee in Business Process Outsourcing, or BPO. Instead of resting or spending his free time on other activities before starting work, he volunteered for the DSWD repacking activities.
Hindi man po kami nakasama sa mga pagtulong sa mga nasalanta sa mismong araw na nangyari ang sakuna, sa ganitong gampanin, kami ay maaaring makatulong sa kanila sa pagbibigay ng serbisyo sa mga nasalanta.
The DSWD recognizes the assistance of MCGI.
For our MCGI volunteers, we're very much thankful on behalf of the Department of Social Welfare and Development for your helping hands. Talagang we're all in this together pag ganitong may mga disaster na talagang kailangan magtulong-tulong para mas maipaabot ang mga pangangailangan ng ating mga kababayan, di ba? So we're very thankful for your efforts and sana huwag kayong magkasabang tumulong.
For fellow citizens who also wish to volunteer for DSWD's repacking of relief items, please coordinate and register with Ms. Sharalee of the DSWD National Resource Operations Center at cell phone number 0926-061-2646 or email address mslle@dswd.gov.ph. Volunteers must also be 18 years old and above. It is advised to wear comfortable clothing and closed-toe shoes. Additionally, bring bottled water or a tumbler and snacks.
For safety and cleanliness na rin, no? So they can wear casual attire and closed shoes, no? Para mas okay.
According to the DSWD, approximately 600,000 family food packs have been distributed to those affected by the monsoon and Typhoon Karina. Meanwhile, MCGI also distributed free meals in various parts of Metro Manila and nearby provinces in Luzon. The meals included porridge and other breakfast items in Avotas City, Pasig City, Quezon City, Bulacan, Rizal, and other areas. This was few days after the disaster experienced in Metro Manila and nearby provinces last Wednesday, July 24. Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Global News. China and Russia staged their first bomber patrol near Alaska, marking a significant step between their military cooperation. While the joint flights were not seen as a threat, it triggered concerns among the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO, and its allies. Ann Gonzalez will tell us why.
2 Chinese strategic bombers and 2 Russian long-range bombers had been spotted conducting a joint patrol over the Bering Sea and far eastern Russia. The North American Aerospace Defense Command, or NORAD, stated that the joint flights poses no danger. However, it's the first time known to U.S. military officials that Chinese bombers have flown in the Alaskan Air Defense Identification Zone, or ADIZ. It's also the first occasion where both countries flew from the same base in northeast Russia, raising concerns among the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO, and its allies. United States Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin feared that the flourishing military cooperation between China and Russia might further the war in Ukraine. NATO allies have described China as a decisive enabler of Russia's war in Ukraine, mostly due to its no-limits partnership with Russia. Meanwhile, Japan has also grown increasingly concerned over the joint drills, as fleet of Russian and Chinese warplanes were spotted flying together last December over the waters of Japan and Korea. The recent joint patrol between Moscow and Beijing lasted more than 5 hours, the Russian Defense Ministry said. A spokesperson for China's Defense Ministry confirmed the military exercise and explained that the patrol tested and improved coordination between the two air forces. Ann Gonzalez, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
A significant meeting took place at the White House between Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris, focusing on the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas. Vice President Harris particularly emphasized the humanitarian crisis in Gaza and called for an immediate ceasefire. She highlighted the urgent need for humanitarian aid for the millions of people in the city who are also facing food insecurity. Vice President Harris discussed the Biden administration's proposal, which includes a ceasefire and a hostage deal aimed at ending the violence in the region. She urged citizens to unite in condemning terrorism and violence, while also standing against anti-Semitism and Islamophobia.
So I just had a frank and constructive meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu. I told him that I will always ensure that Israel is able to defend itself, including from Iran and Iran-backed militias such as Hamas and Hezbollah. We cannot allow ourselves to become numb to the suffering, and I will not be silent. The first phase of the deal would bring about a full ceasefire, including a withdrawal of the Israeli military from population centers in Gaza. In the second phase, the Israeli military would withdraw from Gaza entirely, and it would lead to a permanent end to the hostilities.
Ongoing wildfires are ravaging the state of Alberta in Canada. Affected area includes Jasper, a Western Canadian tourist town, and the damage is described by authorities as the worst nightmare and would require a significant rebuilding. Early Briones tells us why.
The small town of Jasper, a Western Canadian tourist spot in Alberta, has been under wildfire since Thursday, July 25. With almost 50% of buildings and other structures destroyed. Great efforts from firefighters to at least control the fire are still ongoing. The park that has recorded an average of more than 2 million visitors each year were vacated on Monday, when approximately 15,000 locals and visitors combined were reported to be in the park. Alberta Premier Daniel Smith announced with sadness that this is the worst nightmare for the town and rebuilding the town will be painstaking. There is no reports about damage specifics, but residents are still not allowed to return to their homes. Jasper Mayor Richard Ireland also expressed dismay about the incident. He mentioned on a press conference that locals will definitely be facing great loss brought about by the fire, and that their once beautiful town now needs a massive rebuilding. Meanwhile, Trans Mountain Oil Pipeline, which transports 890,000 barrels of oil from Vancouver to Edmonton daily, is not damaged nor affected by the savage fire. However, its operation has been suspended at some point when the wildfire became worse. There are at least 176 ongoing wildfires in Alberta, and around 50 are out of control. Early Briones, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
As the opening ceremony of the Paris 2024 Olympic Games is set to commence in just a few hours, it promises to make history with its grandiose outdoor setting, a first for the Olympics. Despite the cloudy weather, both spectators and organizers remain hopeful for favorable conditions. Delegates from various countries will be transported by boats along the River Seine, waving their flags. Filipino boxers Nesty Patricio and Carlo Paalam will proudly carry the Philippine flag during the ceremony, which also marks the Philippines' centennial participation in the Olympic Games. The grand opening ceremony will start at 7:30 p.m. Paris time or 1:30 a.m. on Saturday in the Philippines. Alongside Patricio and Paalam, other Filipino athletes participating in the parade include boxers Ira Villegas and her Sergi Bacyadan, hurdlers Lauren Huffman and Jan Cabang, swimmers Kyla Sanchez and Jared Hutch, gymnast Aliyah Finnegan, and fencer Sam Katantan. Chef de mission John Vic Remulla and various sports officials will also be part of the parade, while Philippine Olympic Committee President Abraham Bambol Tolentino will be seated in the Olympic family section along the Seine River. Due to intensive preparations, gymnastics star Carlos Yulo, rower Giovanni Delgaco, and boxer Yumil Marshall will miss the opening ceremony. They are scheduled to compete tomorrow, Saturday. Pole vaulter EJ Obiena is currently in Normandy focusing on his preparations. Weightlifters Vanessa Sarno, Elwin Ando, and John Ceniza are training in Metz and will join the Olympic Village on August 6th. The 16 Filipino Olympians are set to compete across various venues in and around the French capital. The Philippine Embassy in France has shared the schedule and venues of our athletes' Olympic events on their Facebook page, and some athletes have invited everyone to support the Filipino delegation during the Paris Olympics.
Hi, this is CJ Obiena. I'm inviting you to watch the Philippine team in this upcoming Paris Olympics. So, sa lahat ng Pilipino na sa Paris, come and watch, support the Philippines, and Laban Pilipinas.
Hi, I'm John Gavan. Just arrived to Paris, and I invite you to see the games. See you in Paris. Laban Pilipinas.
Hello, my name is Aliyah Finnegan. I'm 21 years old and I'm competing in the women's artistic gymnastics competition. I'm so honored to be representing the Philippines. Thank you so much for all of the support. Just send all of the prayers our way and we really appreciate you guys and we're going to make you guys proud.
And those are the reasons behind the news and in other parts of the globe. I am Jovic Bermas, live from Paris, France. Good evening.
Oil sheen and oil slicks continue to be observed in the area where an oil tanker sank in Limay, Bataan yesterday. According to the Philippine Coast Guard, the salvaging company hired by the ship's owner has already laid out a plan to remove the oil cargo from the tanker. Ryan Nakandale will tell us why.
The PCG continued to monitor the oil sheen and oil slick coming from the sunken motor tanker in Limay, Bataan since yesterday.
Well, kaninang umaga, nakatanggap tayo ng report na similar kahapon na oil sheen and oil slick pa lang yung nakikita doon sa area. At ang ginawa po natin, kahit na konti lang yung nakitang oil, naglagay tayo ng dispersant at pinulekta po natin yung mga emulsified oil.
According to the PCG, the oil leakage is still from the vessel's operational use. However, as time progresses, the situation becomes more urgent due to the risk of potential oil cargo leak.
Ang ibig sabihin lang nun, wala pang tumatagas from the tank itself. So we're racing against time na ma-siphon natin yung langis para ma-avoid natin yung environmental catastrophe.
Several PCG and also salvaging company vessels hired by the ship owner are now standby at Ground Zero. Today, July 26, the PCG met with the salvaging company to outline their plan for removing the oil from the vessel. According to the PCG's Environmental Protection Unit, siphoning could be completed within 7 days once it begins. The local government of Limay is concerned that the situation might impact the livelihoods of their residents.
70% of our livelihood is sa yamang dagat po, kaya malaki po yung panggamba namin at syempre po hindi lang po sa amin, pati na po yung mga karatig na bayan na pwedeng maapektuhan po nito at pati na rin po yung kalakihan po ng karagatan. Syempre makakasira po sa mga marine life natin.
According to Vice Mayor David, the owner of the sunken motor tanker has not yet been in contact with them. However, the spokesperson for the Port of Agua Ship Management stated that the owner is currently coordinating with the affected local governments.
Ginagawa naman po namin ang lahat para po matulungan ang mga kailangan tulungan po. So right now po, actually kahapon po nagpadala na po ako ng team po para din po kausapin ang mga local government units po para malaman din po kung ano yung mga kailangan namin i-address sa local government.
Yesterday, July 25, a fishing ban was imposed in Barangay Lamao and Barangay Alangan, the areas closest to where the motor tanker sank. However, some fishermen continue to fish as they have not yet been strictly regulated by the authorities.
Kung nagbawal naman po sila, dapat nanghuli sila. Dahil naman po ng isda, maaga pa.
Hindi ko alam na bawal eh. Wala ko naman abiso eh. Kung may abiso sila, dating nagpa-abiso maaga, dapat hindi kami nangawil eh. Wala naman silang pinabi na bawal mangawil eh.
The fisher folk will comply if a strict fishing ban is enforced in the area, but their concern is how they will manage their daily expenses. Ryan Lacanlale, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Arkasang Bahay. As the world faces these trying times amid the various challenges and uncertainties, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity.
Good day. I'm Brother Eli Soriano of the members of the Church of God International. I want to invite you to join us in a minute of prayer every day to pray for humanity and the whole world as we go through these perilous times. While safety measures like washing of hands and strengthening of our immune systems may help us through this horrible predicament, there is still no precaution or cure more powerful than God's mighty intervention. And we need His intervention now more than ever. It doesn't matter what religion you are in or what denomination you belong. This is an invitation for all the people around the world who cares for the future of their family, friends, loved ones, and humanity as a whole. Everybody is welcome to pray with us. For more details, you can check out the description box below. Thank you very much, and I hope to hear from you soon. May God bless you.
And before we close, we will leave you with a word giving glory to God. From the book of Proverbs, chapter 8, verse 33, it says, "Hear instruction and be wise, and refuse it not." And those are the reasons behind the news July 26, 2024. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. And because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am Marvy Delfin, live from Australia. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Yun, gawin nyo lahat.
buksan yung ang pagpasok, gawin nyo hanggat maaari kung kaya nyo buksan. Siguro yung iba mapipilitan, they will conduct classes outside of the school building, makapagklase lang. Tingnan natin, we'll see. They will, ganyan naman, nasanay na tayo sa pandemic. Kahit hahanapan natin ng paraan para magkaroon pa rin ng pasok.
Wala pa po. Sabi po nila, kanina po pumunta po ako dito, sabi balik na lang daw po kami.
Nagsabi naman po ang Department of Health na meron dadalhin ngayon. Opo, hintay lang natin.
Sobrang dami talaga.
Sobrang dami po talaga ng tao dito.
For our MCGI volunteers, we're very much thankful on behalf of the Department of Social Welfare and Development for your helping hands. Talagang we're all in this together pag ganitong may mga disaster na talagang kailangan magtulong-tulong para mas maipaabot ang mga pangangailangan ng ating mga kababayan, di ba? So we're very thankful for your efforts and sana huwag kayong magkasawang tumulong.